Hello students, welcome to the session NEET test 103. It came late in the night. I thought paper won't come right now, but when I woke up in the morning I saw the paper. So here I am with the analysis of this test also. This is perhaps one of the easiest one I have solved till now. You can see I have marked 27 as easy. I could have marked more also. 18 questions as medium and only one as tough, which is also not, I feel, is not that tough. Just one, I have just said let one be tough. So it's a very easy paper, it's very less time taking paper. It is, you can say, it's a, if such a paper comes, I expect many students in India to get 180 out of 180 in physics. So going by my style, 27 and 9, 37, that would be the question an average student should do in this paper. So for this paper, this is almost, I can say, anyone having anything in physics should get at least 140. This is perhaps a cakewalk, I don't know, but just remember, such papers are not good because everyone scores for a student, and here every mistake will be brutal for you. In a tough paper, one or two mistakes won't matter that much, but here one or two mistakes will matter too much. And for those who are very good in physics, should I say? It should be 170 plus. It is one of the easiest one I have solved till now. So let's begin. When a hydrogen atom is raised from ground energy level to excited energy level, then so when it goes to higher levels, we know kinetic energy decreases, but the potential and the total energy increases. So going by this, option A is the correct one. Potential energy will increase while the kinetic energy will decrease. Second, the de Broglie wavelength of an electron in the ground state of the hydrogen atom is. Now de Broglie wavelength in the ground state of atom is, we can directly go, the de Broglie relation here says 2 pi r is equal to L lambda. So for the ground state, 2 pi r is equals to lambda, so lambda is equals to 2 pi r. Go for option B here. That was the de Broglie explanation of the angular momentum quantization of the Bohr model. Body of mass m moving with speed v suddenly breaks into two pieces. One have a mass m by 4, it becomes stationary. So what would be the velocity of the other one? So since no external force is acting, applying conservation of momentum, mv is equal to m by 4 into 0 plus the remaining mass is 3m by 4 into v final. So its v final will become, directly you can say, that is 4v by 3. Go for option D. Now a 3 kg ball strikes a heavy rigid wall with a speed of 10 meter per second at an angle of 60 degree with the wall. Okay, it gets reflected with the same speed at 60 degree. If the ball was in contact with 0.2 seconds, the average forces. So in this case, let's say if I take it x-axis, and if I take it, take it as y-axis and take it as x-axis, the component of the velocity along the x will remain the same, only the change will be y. So momentum change here I can directly write would be 2m uy j cap, where uy is the magnitude of the initial y component of the velocity. You can say, because the velocity initially was along this direction, finally it is there along the y-axis. So this component will become, let's say if the velocity is u, that would be u sine of 60. So that would be 2 into 3 into 10 sine 60, that is root 3 by 2 j cap. So therefore the magnitude of the force would be delta p by delta t, and that will also be along the normal or the y-axis, or you can say this would be equal to, if I solve from there, 30 root 3 upon 0.2, so it comes out as 150 root 3 newtons. So the force is 150 root 3 newtons. Go for option C in this case. Next one. Particle moves in a circle of radius half a meter at a speed that uniformly increases. Find the angular acceleration of the particle if speed changes from 2 to 4 in 4 seconds. So directly what would be AT? First of all, AT would be change in speed, that is 2 meter per second upon 4 seconds, that is 1 by 2. And what would be AT? AT is generally what you write as alpha r. So alpha would be AT by r. So that comes out as 1 radian per second square if you solve it. So this is option A. The vertical component of the Earth's magnetic field at a place is root 3 times its horizontal component. So what we know, angle of dip tan I is BV upon BH. So BV is root 3 times BH, so tan I is root 3. So I would be equal to 60 degree. Go for option A. Again a easy one for you, just formula putting. Next one. What is the equivalent resistance between A and B in the given circuit? Okay. So first of all, start with the obvious one. The obvious one is 2 and 2 in between A and B. Okay, between A and B. So 2 and 2, that would be 4 ohms. Now this 4 and this 4 in series, in parallel, sorry, that would be equals to 2 ohm. That 2 and 2 in series would be 4 ohm. That 4 and 4 parallel, that is 2 ohm. 2 and 2 in series is 4 ohm. Now finally what we have this 4 and 8 in parallel, so the resultant would be 4 into 8 upon 4 plus 8, that is 12. That is 32 by 12, that comes out as 8 by 3 ohms. So not a tough one, you can simply simplify that. Next one, a meter bridge wire shown in the adjoining figure is 100 centimeter long, which is always 100 is given. AD length is 30 centimeters. Okay, no deflection occurs, the value of R is, so simply 6 upon R would be equal to 30 upon 70, that is 3 by 7. So R directly comes out as 21 ohms. You can directly go from here. R, okay, let me check. No, it is not 21. Let me calculate it. 6 into 7 by 3, that is 42 by 3, not 21, it is 14 ohm. So be clear about it, it is 14 ohm. So this is option C here. Next one, an oscillator circuit containing an inductor and a capacitor, then the maximum voltage across the capacitor is 200. The maximum current in the circuit is directly, you can say, half CV max square would be equal to half Li max square in this case. So what would be I max? I max you can directly write as V max into root of C by L. So V max is 200 root of C by L, that is 80 into 10 to the power minus 6. L is 5 into 10 to the power minus 2. So this is 200 into 80 by 5, that is 16 into 10 to the power minus 4. So 200 into 4 into 10 to the power minus 2, this goes, this is 8 ampere. So the maximum current in this case, just by energy analysis you can do, this is 8 amperes. Next one, your square loop carrying a steady current I is placed in a horizontal plane near a long straight conducting wire carrying a steady current I1 at the top at a distance d from it. The loop will experience, first of all, what you will say, the forces on these two will cancel, and because of this this attractive force, because it is near, would be more than this repulsive one because they are in the same direction. So net it will experience an attraction force. So it experiences the repulsive force, no. It experiences the net torque, no, because of the symmetries, the line of actions of these forces will pass through CM, no action it will be there. So no torque, it would be net attractive force towards the conductor. Next, conductor with a cavity is charged positively and surface charge density is sigma. If E and V represents the electric field and potential, then inside the cavity. So since cavity with a conductor with a cavity is charged, so conductor is charged, cavity won't charge, so it is a cavity which is charge free, so E is going to be 0 first of all, and because field is 0, the potential inside will remain constant. You know, the field inside cavity will only come if the cavity itself has a charge. From the outside, any effects, it is shielded by the conductor. Next one, the effective capacitance. Now this is the infinite ladder. You know what the logic is. You also know that if you look at the network from A and B or from C and D, it would be the same. So C equivalent between A and B or C equivalent between C and D will be same. So let it be X. So redraw it. So this is redrawing it. So between C and D, if I draw this equivalent as X, this is C, this is C, this is so what we will say, the equivalent between A and B will also be X. These two are in parallel and that is in series. So X would be equal to C into C plus X upon C plus C plus X. So what do you get? 2Cx plus X square is equal to C square plus Cx. So X square plus Cx minus C square equal to 0. So the X value is minus C. Plus minus won't be the option, so I am rejecting that. C square plus 4C square by 2. So it comes out as C root 5 minus 1 by 2. So that is the answer. And what is the value of C? The value of C, it is not given. So it should be root 5 minus 1 by 2 into C. That should be the correct answer here. So I am just going assuming they have taken that C to be 1 microfarad. That is what they have done, I suppose. Yes. Okay. Next one. A man of weight W on the surface of the earth, what is the weight at a height equal to R? So at height equal to R, you know, G will become Gm upon R plus R whole square, or you can say that becomes G naught by 4. So weight will also become W naught by 4, or you can say W by 4. Or W dash you can write, or G dash you can write. It would be W by 4 in this particular situation. So go for option C. Next, Time period of a satellite of Earth is 5 hours. If the separation between Earth and satellite is increased to 4 times, so again you know t square proportional to r cube, t proportional to r to the power 3 by 2. So what you can say, r is a 4 times, so 4 to the power 3 by 2, that comes out as 8. So directly you can say time period will become 8 times of that, that is 40 hours. Directly you can go for here. Next, two rods of the same length and diameter are having thermal conductivities K1, K2. They are in parallel. The equivalent thermal conductivity is, so in parallel what you will write, 1 upon r equivalent is 1 upon r1 plus 1 upon r2. So this r equivalent I can write it as L will remain as same, L upon K equivalent, and area will become twice of A. It will become twice of A because if you do in parallel, the effective area will get doubled. So this is a twice of area that you are going to write in this case. Now when you have R1 will be written as L upon Ka, and it would be also K1A, it would be L upon K2A. So going by the results, this K equivalent will become K1 plus K2 by 2. That is what we will go for option C here. K equivalent will become here K1 plus K2 by 2. Next one. Among the following, the correct statement is internal energy of a gas depends only on the state of the gas. Yes, because it is a state function. Isothermal process, the change in energy is maximum, it is 0. Area under pressure, volume curves equally, heat supplied, no, that is work. Work done is state dependent but not path dependent. This is wrong. Work depends on paths only. A is correct. An ideal monogas is taken around the cycle ABCDA. Work done during the cycle, you can say directly area under the PV curve that we still talked about in the above, and because it is clockwise it would be positive. And if I check this area would be this length is V, this length is P, so work done is equal to PV. So it is plus PV. Net work done in the cycle is going to be plus PV. That is an easy one for you. Next, which of the following particle will describe the smallest circle when projected with the same velocity normal to the field? Smallest circle means the radius would be minimum, you can say. So radius you know is mv by qb. So with the same velocity, so r is proportional to m by q. So out of proton, helium plus, lithium plus, definitely electron, because its mass is going to be least. You know the electron mass is 1 by 1840 of mass of proton. So definitely electron is going to be the answer here. Next, the length of a magnet is large compared to its width and breadth. Time period in vibration magnetometer is 2 seconds. Now it is cut along its length into 3 equal parts that are placed on each other with their like poles together. The time period of this combination will be, so you have cut it in 3 equal parts, it means like this. So whenever you cut it, you definitely know the time period of this part will now become 1/3 of that, and if you place them in parallel, it doesn't matter, time period will remain same, so it would be 2 by 3 seconds. Now what's the way here? And let me take the complete case when 3 are like this. So when 3 are like this with their poles together, so first of all this would be m by 3, m by 3, m by 3, because all 3 are in same direction. So the magnetic moment initially was mu, it still becomes mu. The length initially was L, it becomes L by 3. Mass will remain the same. So what we typically write, time period is 2 pi under root of I by mu b. So what you have, mu is same, b is same, and I because it is dependent on ml square, what you will say, the mass is same but L has become 1 by 3, so I will become 1 by 9, so I will become 1 by 9, so time period will become T by 3. Directly you can go for 2 by 3 seconds. So this is a very important concept, you all should know. Which of the following option is correct for the object having a straight line motion represented by the following graph? The object moves with constantly increasing velocity from O to A. O to A, you can say it is a straight line, so velocity is constant, so it is not increasing. Velocity of the object increases uniformly, no. A to B it increases, B to C it will decrease. Average velocity is 0, that is correct, because initially and finally displacement overall is 0, so average velocity will be 0. So go for option C here. The equation of motion of a projectile is y is equal to this. The horizontal component of velocity is 3, the range will be. So what would be the range? Range will be, you can say, when x will become 0, y will become 0. So 0 is equal to 12r minus 3 by 4 r square. So r directly I can make it out as 48 by 3, that is 16 meter. No need to calculate anything else. So it is 16 meter, you can directly go for. A block of 2 kg slides on an incline with an inclination 30 with the horizontal coefficient of friction is root 3 by 2. What force along the plane should be applied to the block so that it moves down? So first of all, tan 30 degree, if I do, it is equal to 1 by root 3, and definitely this tan 30 is less than mu, so it won't move. So to move it down, what you need to apply, you apply a force F in the limiting case, that would be Fs max upper, and this will be supplemented by mg component, and this would be the situation. So what I can say, F minimum would be F plus mg sin theta is equal to Fs max. So F required would be equal to Fx max, which you know as mu s mg cos theta minus mg sin theta. Mg is 20, I take it out. Mu s is root 3 by 2, cos 30 is root 3 by 2 again, sin 30 is 1 by 2. So 3 by 2 minus 1 by 2 is 1. So it comes out as 20 Newton if I so that it moves down. So it would be okay. Then the mistake that I have done is this is root of 3 by 2. I have taken as root 3 by 2. So it is root of 3 by 2. Sorry. So it would be 20 into, it should be 3 upon 2 root 2 minus 1 by 2. So if you do this, this would be 20 upon 2 root 2. It will become 3 minus root 2. So it would be 10, or you can say 5 root 2 into 3 minus root 2. So it would be 1.73 minus 1.41. 5 into root 2 is approximately 7, you all know. This comes out as 3, 1, 2, 7 and 4, 3. So 0.32, 7 2s are 14, 7 3s are 21. So it is 22, 2.24 or 22.4 or 2.24, whatever we can write. This will be 23 minus root 2. This is 3 minus root 2. Okay, again I am doing a mistake. Okay, I was lucky that no option is matching, otherwise I would have been wrong. So it was 7 into 3.14, this would be, let's say, approximately 1.6. So you can say 7 into 1.6, 7 6 are 2, 7 11.2, so 11.21 Newton, that is the answer you will get here. So go for option A. Be careful in calculation, read it carefully, otherwise you will do mistake like me. Bullet of mass 0.1 kg fired with speed 100 with a mass of gun is 50. The recoil velocity is, you can directly say, and the recoil velocity in this case would be, velocity recoil would be mass of bullet into velocity of bullet upon mass of gun, because the momentum is need to be conserved. So it is 0.1 into 100 upon 50, so it is 2.2 meter per second. That is what you will write. Go for A. Next, sample of a radioactive material has a mass of 10 gram at instant equal to 0. Approximate mass of the element after 2 mean half-lives. After 2 mean half-lives, what we say, the n will remaining would be equal to n naught by e square. So mass will become also 1 by e square or 10 by e square, and e is what you had, that 1.7 something. So if I do that 1.7 something square, that would be, you can say, approximately, if you do, this comes out, sorry, e is 2.71, so 2.71 whole square, like approximately you will get to 27. If you do that square, you know, this basically comes out as, it would be 27 into 27 if I do. So 7 7s are 9, 7 2s are 14, 28 and 4 32, 4 and 3 729. So 10 upon 729, 7.29. So it would be, as per this option, only 1.35 gram, nothing else can be possible. So go for option A for this particular one. Next, what is the probability of a radioactive nucleus to survive one mean life? So after one mean life, out of n naught, only n naught by e survives. So probability of surviving will be 1 by e, because 1 by e fraction will only be remaining. So probability of surviving is 1 by e. Next, spring of constant K is cut into two pieces, that one piece is double the length of the other. So what we have, L1 by L2 is equal to 2. So, and L1 plus L2 is equal to L. So directly you can say L1 would be equal to 2L by 3, that is the longer piece, and you know spring constant, you know, is inverse to length. So if length become 2/3, the spring constant will become 3 by 2. So directly you can say that would be 3K by 2 of the longer one, directly you can write. Next, the average acceleration of a particle performing SHM over one complete oscillation. Over one complete oscillation, you know, everything is become 0, because after one complete oscillation, velocity will still be the same which was in the start. So average acceleration will definitely be 0. Average force will always be 0 for complete oscillation. Light of 500 nanometer is incident on a metal with work function. This is the de Broglie wavelength of the emitted fastest emitted electron. So they have given the inequality. So first of all, Kmax you know is hc by lambda 1240 upon 500, that will give you in nanometer in EV, minus 2.28 EV. So what you have 1240 upon this, so it is 12.4 by 5, that comes out as 2.8 if I am right. Yes, no, yes I am right or not, let me check. No, I am not right here. It would be 2, this would be 24, so that is 2.48, 2.48 minus 2.28, so it is 0.20 EV. So the kinetic energy would be less than equal to 0.20 EV. Now lambda you know as h upon root 2 mk. So h is 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 34 and root 2 m. So for the Kmax, lambda will be minimum. So lambda would be minimum for this, that means lambda would be greater than or equal to would be the answer. And let me check this minimum value. M is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31, and this is 0.20 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So 31 and 19, 50. So this will come 6.63 into 10 to the power minus 9 you will have. And what is left? 9.1 into 2, or this is 3.2 into 9.1, and I can write it as 1.5. So it would be 1.8, 3.2 into 1.8 will be, so out of this option now it is clear power would be 10 to the power minus 9, so I can go for option B. You can simplify the others, but I can make it out, the order will be like this. So this is an easy one for me. You can make the complete calculation if you wish. When a piece of a metal is illuminated by a monochromatic light of wavelength lambda, the stopping potential was 3V. Okay. When it is illuminated by 2 lambda, that means energy is halved, it becomes V. Vs, the value of threshold wavelength would be. So what we can write, hc by lambda minus phi, or you can write it as hc by lambda naught, you can write it in this way, was equal to 3 EVS. Similarly, hc by 2 lambda minus hc by lambda naught is equal to EVS. So what you will do, you should divide it. EVS goes, hc goes. So whatever you are left with, 1 by lambda minus 1 by lambda naught would be 3 times 1 by 2 lambda minus 1 by lambda naught. So if it comes here, it will become 2 by lambda naught, it will become 3 by 2 minus 1, that is 1 by 2 lambda. So lambda naught becomes 4 lambda. So go for option A for this particular case. Next. 2 wires having same length and material stretched by the same force diameter are in the ratio 1:3. The ratio of the strain energy per unit volume for these 2 wires when stretched is. So that energy you say is equal to half, per unit volume is half stress into strain. So stress you know depends upon force upon area, okay, and strain you know is equal to delta L upon L, or it's better you can write it as stress upon Y, that is F upon AY. So whatever you can write this way, energy stored per unit volume, small u which you write, that would be, because force is same, Y is same, so it is inverse to A square. You can say inverse to A square means inverse to D to the power 4. So you can directly say U1 by U2 is D2 by D1 to the power 4. So that would be 81 by 1. Go for option D here. Next. So this was D. Next one. 2 water pipes diameter 2 cm, 4 cm are connected with the main supply line. The velocity of flow of water in the pipe of 2 cm diameter is, okay. So because it has a diameter half, area 1/4, so speed would be 4 times that of the other pipe. Directly you can say using equation of continuity. Easy one for you. Next. Plane mirror of circular shape with radii 20 cm fixed to the ceiling. Bulb is to be placed on the axis of the mirror. Circular of area of radius 1 meter on the floor is to be illuminated after reflection of light from the mirror. The height of the room is 3 meters. What should be the maximum distance from the center of the mirror and the bulb so that the required area is illuminated? So let this be the circular, and it was not properly made. Let me draw it by hand only. So let's say this is a mirror fixed to the ceiling, and we have what we have. This is your floor here, and the object is placed okay, what is the maximum distance from the center of the mirror so that the required bulb is illuminated? So let's say the bulb is placed like here B, let's say this height be h. So first of all, if this is h, I can say the image of the bulb form B dash would be like this, and the rays will be coming. If I do I can draw from here. And what area you require now, what area you require now is what would be the maximum distance, circular area of radius 1 meter. So you know this distance is 1 meter, this distance you know is 20 centimeter or 1/5 meters. So now it becomes easy for you. This is h, this is h, and what is this? This distance would be 3 minus h. So just using the similar triangle logic, so h upon 1/5 would be equal to, directly you can say 3 plus h by 1. So 3 plus h, 5 times 3 plus h, if I am right. Okay, 5 times 3 plus h would be equal to, okay, I have done it as a mistake, this 5 will be there. Okay, let me draw it again. It would be 5h here, that is equal to 3 plus h. So h comes out as 3/4 meters, so 75 centimeter would be the answer for this particular case. Option A is the answer. Next one. Double convex thin lens made of refractive index 1.6 and radii of curvature 15 centimeter each. Focal length of the lens when immersed in liquid of refractive index 1.63. We can say 1/f would be, in this medium would be, lens is 1.6, medium is 1.63, so nature will be changed, it will become concave, and it would be both are 15, so 1 upon minus 15, okay, 1 upon plus 15, let's say, because it is double convex, minus 1 upon minus 15. So what you have, minus 0.03 upon 1.63, and it comes out as a 2/15. So f in this medium is 1.63 into 15 upon 0.06 with negative sign. So with negative sign we are getting only one option, but let me check the magnitude also, sometimes they miss that thing. So let's say it is minus 163 into 15/6. This is 2, this is 5. So 163, 353s are 15, 31, and this is 815/2. So it is minus 407.5. That is the perfect answer. Go for option D. So you could go by sign also if you trust it. Thin circular ring, mass m, radius r, rotating about axis with omega. Two objects each of mass m attached gently to the opposite end of the diameter. The wheel now rotates with, so simple angular momentum conservation because diametrically placed, so no net torque acts. So initially the momentum was only angular momentum, I was only mr square omega. Now it becomes mr square plus 2 attached, that would be 2 mr square into omega final. So this omega final will become m omega upon m plus 2m, that you can directly go for. So this goes for option C here. Easy one for you. Next one. Solid cylinder MR rolls from rest down a plane inclined at angle theta to the horizontal. The velocity of the center of mass after it has rolled down a distance d. Roll down a distance d. Okay, so this distance is given like this d. So if this is d and this is theta, I can go for h. I know sine theta would be equal to h by d. So the height traveled is d sine theta. And we know the velocity formula, you directly know root 2h by beta cylinder, because it's so solid cylinder means disk, so beta would be 3/2. So 2gh is what you have, d sine theta, and b you have as 3/2. So it becomes 4/3 g d sine theta. So I think the last option is what I am getting. So option D is what we will go for next. In a PN junction diode, the current in the reverse bias state is due to, current in reverse bias we say is the flow of minority charge carrier from P side to N side, flow of majority carriers. You know, reverse bias, the current is only because of the minority carriers. So go for option A. Now, the combination of gates shown in the figure below produces. So what we have, this basically what we have, NAND gate, both input same, so it would be invert, this would be invert, and this is invert. So what you have, this is directly if you go by Boolean one, this would be A bar, this would be B bar, and this is a NAND gate. So A bar, B bar, whole bar. So A bar, B bar, whole bar you will write, and this will by this logic you can go for this. If I simplify this a bar b bar, I can write it as a plus b whole bar. So whole bar will become a plus b, so it would be the OR gate. Otherwise what you can say if you don't want to apply this boolean, go by your truth table thing, a b y. That is what I generally prefer. So put them as 0 0. So if I put them as 0 0, this will be 1 1, and if this is 1 1, NAND gate is definitely going to give you 0. Now 0 and 1, if you put it 0 and 1, this will become 1 and 0, and because it is a NAND gate, AND will give 0, so NAND will give 1. So 1 0 will also be 1, and similarly 1 1, if you do that 1 1, if you do 1 1, both will be 0 0, and it still will be 1. So this is OR gate, that is option B. You can go for it. Next one. By what percentage should the pressure of a given mass of a gas be increased so as to decrease its volume by 10% at constant temperature? Okay, so pressure should be increased to decrease by volume by 10% constant pressure. So what we can say, P naught V naught would be P final V final, because temperature is constant. So P final upon P naught would be equal to V naught upon V final. So V naught by V final, volume is decreased, so V naught, it becomes 0.9 times V naught, so it becomes 10 by 9, you can say. So 10 by 9, that is the final pressure. So what we can say, it is 10 by 9. So final pressure delta P by P naught would be 1 by 9 times V naught. So that would be 1 by 9. So 1 by 9. So in percentage term, it 200 by 9, 100 by 9 would be 11.1%. Go for option D here. Next one. Percentage error in quantity P, Q, R, S are 0.51, 3, 1.5, and this is the expression. Maximum percentage error in A, you know, is delta A by A max would be 3 times error in P, 2 times relative error in this Q, plus a half times in R, plus 1 times in S. So what you have, this P is 0.5, so it would become 1.5. This has become 2, this becomes 1.5, and this becomes 1.5. So 1.5, 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6.5. Go for option A. 6.5% will be the answer here. Next. During scattering of light, the amount of scattering is inversely proportional to the fourth power of the wavelength. That is the Rayleigh's law of scattering, you know from class 10th. YDSC is carried out by using green, red, blue light, one color at a time. The fringe widths are. So what we know, fringe width beta is proportional to lambda. Lambda is maximum for the red, so red is maximum. And what we have, red, green, blue, blue will be minimum, red will be maximum. So go for option D here. Next one. Source emits a sound of frequency 400, but the listener hears it 390. So it is hearing lesser. So listener is not moving towards it, is definitely going away, and the source is also going away out of the two. So option C will be the most appropriate. Next. Fundamental frequency of an air column of a pipe closed at one end is 100 Hz. If the same pipe is open at both the ends, the frequency produced will be. So in the pipe closed at one end, fundamental frequency is V by 4L. In the pipe closed at one end, is open at both ends, it would be V naught V by 2L. So fundamental frequency will get doubled. So it would be 200, and all harmonics will be present. So 200, double 400, triple 600 will be present now. Next. Particle moves along the x-axis from 0 to 5 under the influence of this force. The work done in the process is, work done is integration f dx. So 7 minus 2x plus 3x square dx from 0 to 5. 7x minus x square plus x cube from 0 to 5. Put it 7 into 5 minus 5 square, because at 0 everything will be 0. So 35 minus 25 plus 125. So 125 plus 10, that is 135 joule. Go for option D. Simple integration you have to do here. Do it carefully. Last one. Spring has a force constant 800, has an extension 5. Work done from 5 to 15. W would be delta U spring. Half K, that is 800 into final is 15 square minus 5 square into 10 to the power minus 4 for SI units. So 400 into 10 to the power minus 4, 225 minus 25, that is 200. So 2 and 2, 4 goes. This would be 8 joule. So go for option B here. Additional work, or the work required, is 8 joule. So that was for today. I thought paper won't come. I posted therefore in the night in the group, but the paper has come. I woke up at around 5:30 and now I have solved it. So thanks for watching.